Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode of Spoiler Alert. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, please hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. All right. So, for those of you who are just kind of popping in or something like that, don't know what this thing is. So, spoiler alert is pretty much anything that has come out to the mainstream, has been released, video games, movies, TV shows, whatever. If you guys want to talk about it, we'll talk about it, and you can spoil away, even if I haven't seen it. I'm going to be talking about some stuff that I've seen that, for want of a better medium, I'm not covering completely, so I'm just going to be talking about it here, or I might be covering stuff as well. And pretty much just an open dialogue at this point. So if you've seen like sneak previews of stuff or anything like that, that's not okay here, because we don't want to be spoiled by that kind of stuff. Just stuff that's accessible to everyone at this point. So, and also I kind of sprinkle in some new stuff as well throughout all of this. So it is kind of like a bastardized, I also do this little segment called Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take genre news of the week and talk about that. So I kind of pepper that in here as well. So this is kind of a smorgasbord of all kinds of stuff that's out there. So I'm going to do some spoiler. Well, I'm going to do some, new stuff to begin with. So one of the things that happened a while back here was The Peripheral got canceled by Prime Video. Season 2 got canceled, even though season 2 had been, greenlit. Now it is canceled. So they've gone back on that, which really kind of sucks. It was a good show. But I could see with the writer's strike happening, the actor strike going on, Amazon just didn't want to commit any more money to it at this point. And you know how it is with contracts have expiration dates and all this kind of stuff, so they just shit canned it. So not the best of news on that front. If you want to see my reviews of it, I actually have it up for the first season. The first season I was kind of waffling back and forth in the very beginning of it, and then about I think midway through is when it kicked in, and I really like the series, and I'm disappointed it's not getting a second season out of it. And again, that was Jonathan Nolan's brother and Lisa Joy. So they were actually the executive producers of that. So kind of disappointing that Amazon Prime decided to, get rid of it. But there we go. Also in the news, we got that there's been a little bit of shuffling of stuff that's coming out on Disney Plus. So Loki season 2 is still coming out in October. That hasn't changed. What if season 2? Now we're hearing that it's going to get a Christmas release somewhere around there, like a Christmas release, something like that. And Echo has moved from November. It was supposed to be in November to now January, possibly of 2024. And Agatha, whatever it's being called this week, it's gone through so many different name changes. Now I've heard it's called Agatha, the Darkhold Diaries or something like that. That's not scheduled now till fall of 2024. Originally, it was supposed to come out at the beginning of 2024. Now it's fall of 2024. And of course, Daredevil's been put on hold because of the strikes that are happening. So there you have it. Yeah, there's not a big surprise in all of this. And again, I actually had said this in if you go back to one of my Saturday morning blast offs from the beginning of the strike, I said as if the strike lasted through, the end of August, which is where we're at right now, you're going to start having all these putting back on schedules and all that kind of stuff that was going to happen. And I knew this was going to happen. Everyone knows it's going to happen. So yeah, we're going to start seeing a lot of stuff getting put back on the back burner and postponed. CBM says Darkhold Diaries is the worst of the names. Yes, I know it's the worst of the names. It really is. And from what I've heard, there's a rumor out there that Elizabeth Olsen's going to be returning in all of this. So that's why it's gone through so many different name changes, is because they've gone through a couple of different story changes in all of this because they want to bring back Scarlet Witch, of course. Scarlet Witch is not going to, obviously, Scarlet Witch isn't dead. We didn't see a body. All we just saw was shit falling down on her in Multiverse of Madness. So, you know, there you have it. We all know she's coming back. Oh, and the other thing that kind of makes me laugh. So with Ahsoka, right? We're on episode 4. It's going to be coming out this week of Ahsoka. Supposedly, we're going to get a reveal of who Marek is. The Inquisitor, who's not an Inquisitor. Uh, Filoni, I guess, has been like trolling people on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it's called now. Um, and he was holding up a sign that says your Marek theories are all wrong, kind of thing, is what he's been saying. So none of the theories that have been posited out there are right. Um, there's been everything from he is Ezra to he's going to be Star Killer, or he's going to be Cal Kestis, or my favorite is and someone brought this back from the old Star Wars comic book, is that it's Luke Skywalker's clone, that the Emperor actually cloned Luke Skywalker in the comics, and we got an evil Luke Skywalker who was able to use the Force and all that stuff, and this is Luke Skywalker's evil clone, which is my favorite out of the so far out of all the rumors. I don't have a theory on on who Marek is, quite honestly, just because again, I know that Filoni is he knows what everyone's thinking at this point in time. He's going to do something out of left field. It's not going to be Ezra. It's going to be something else. Is really what it's going to be. Um, the Cal Kestis one would be interesting, quite honestly, to bring Cal Kestis into live action from the video games and have him be an Inquisitor, or that would be kind of an interesting take on all of this. And getting the actor in there, Monahan, to play him would be kind of cool. But again, I don't have a theory on any of this because I know that Filoni is going to come out of left field with this one. He's got to. I mean, just because there's so many rampant theories that are out there. Um, yeah, and I mean, I think at one point they also said that what's her name? Barra Sophie was actually the Inquisitor. And I actually did come up with something that I said would be kind of cool if they did Asajj Ventress as the Inquisitor. That would be really kind of cool. To bring Asajj Ventress back, because that would bring her full circle then in all of this. But who knows? We'll see what happens. I did start watching also Interview with the Vampire, the AMC Plus series. It's on Max right now. The entire first season's on Max. So if you're interested in that, it's up there. I have to say, I'm episode 4 right now, I believe is where I'm at. Or did I finish episode 4? I think I finished episode 4. It's actually not bad, believe it or not. Uh, I've read the books, up until I believe it really started getting ridiculous. I think I read the first 5 books is where I was at, and then I just kind of left off at that point. Um, and what they've done is they've actually moved the timeline up a bit more, so it starts in 1910 rather than the 1840s, somewhere around there, or the 1850s. Um, and so this makes a lot more sense. And then they did an interesting little thing where the original interview happened in 1977, but nothing came of it. Daniel is now an old man or an older man, and he has been contacted again by Louis and said basically Louis tells him the first interview that we had, which ended badly, was not the entire story, was not told in good faith, kind of thing. And now he's ready to tell the story in good faith. Um, so yeah, they actually covered themselves quite well in all of this, and it plays out. It plays out fairly well, I have to admit. It actually does a good job. The guy playing Lestat is really, really good in all of this. It's like the book, and I have to admit it's not a bad take on the books, quite honestly. So if you have Max or HBO or whatever the fuck it's called now, um, there you go. You got something else to watch too. I'm not covering it, of course, but I'm watching it. And oh, by the way, ooh, as I'm hitting shit here with my hands, I know I said I was going to cover the Wheel of Time season 2. I finished the first episode of season 2, and I realized I'm really not invested at all in any of the characters whatsoever. I finished, episodes 2 and 3 as well. I watched all of them. I do like where the story's going, but still, I'm not vested in any of the characters whatsoever. Other than, I know what their names are. I just really don't care about them. It's kind of weird. And I just don't have enough interest to cover the series, quite honestly. So I decided not to cover the series for season 2. I backed out of that one, and again, I've said this before. There's a lot of different genre stuff out there. It's not going to appeal to everyone, and that's a good thing because you don't want everyone agreeing on the same shit all the time. Everyone has their own different interests. Obviously, there's superhero stuff. There's Star Wars stuff. There's fantasy stuff, Lord of the Rings. There's, Wheel of Time. There's all kinds of different genre that's out there. And all people, people are into different things. Some people are into multiple things, and that's good. That's a good thing to have, quite honestly. CBM says, so what? So what you got there? And I know that Penn wants me to continue with Harley Quinn. Season 4 is where we're at now, and I know I started to cover it, and then I'm just like, yeah. CBM says, so surprised about the interview show because it did not look good. Yeah, I know. I was very surprised about it too. So I am the first person that will eat my words if, I talked a lot of shit about that show, and I went back and I'm watching this because like, I'll watch the first episode. I had nothing better to do. So I watched the first episode and I dug it. I got into it and I was like, all right, this actually isn't bad. They did a good job. Having read the books, um, it's different than the books, obviously, but it still follows the same kind of line of the books, if you will, the storyline. And it does a good moving it into the modern era, kind of pushing the books, the storyline into the modern era, and they did a good job of it. I have to admit, I will be the first person to eat my words on this that says that, they did a good job. So, yeah, give the first episode a shot. It's like an hour long, a little over an hour long. So, and if you don't like it, then yeah, you don't like it. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of different genre stuff, that's out there for people to go after and go on their own and take a look at different things, and that's what it's there for. I still haven't gotten into One Piece as of yet. The live action One Piece, I know that's out there. Um, I've got the Pope's Exorcist, uh, in my queue on Netflix as well. Because I've heard it's bad, but I also heard that it's just kind of like one of those movies that's bad, but also you kind of have to see it to. So yeah, we're getting into the Halloween season, so I figured, what the hell, might as well. I'll give it a shot. So why not? Oh, I know. I just kind of rhymed there, didn't I? But they. What else do we have going on here? Oh, so also the other thing that I kind of glossed over a little bit. In Ahsoka, we had Senator Ziano is his name. And at one point, this is where Hera says, "Hey, Senator Ziano, what did you do during the war? Did you fight, or did you just wait to see who came out on top?" So Ziano is actually the father of the kid that we see Kaz in Star Wars Resistance, which is right before the First Order comes online. And yeah, so that ties in Star Wars Resistance into all of this as well and brings it into canon. Which, if you don't remember what Star Wars Resistance was, good for you, because that was a shitty 2 seasons. Star Wars Resistance was an animated series that was trying to shoehorn in the the new trilogy, the latest trilogy, if you will, the J.J. Abrams first trilogy, and it was just really shitty. I mean, so shitty it only got 2 seasons and barely eked out that second season and just died a very quiet death off screen, which is what it was supposed to do. And Kaz was just a fucking annoying character. He really was. But there you have it. That's where that tied in. I didn't realize it because I was like, that name sounds familiar, but I don't know where it's coming from. And then I, started reading around and I saw all that. I thought that was interesting. What else do we have going on? I'm trying to see if there's any other news that's out there. They're really, I mean, with the strikes going on right now, a lot of stuff just being moved around. Like Daredevil Reborn has been, halted, of course, for the production. The Last of Us season 2 is, the scripts are written. They just really want to get back into doing this. So if, you know, basically all that needs to happen is the studios need to start paying the people the fucking money that they owe them. That's really what it comes down to. And I mean, come on, we're quibbling over less than 1%, less than 0.5% in some cases of that they could pay their writers and their actors, and also just changing out policy instead of owning the likeness of somebody, uh, paying for that likeness, that kind of stuff, and that's really what it gets down to in all of this. And yeah, these studio heads are just being fucking dickheads, is really what's going on. What else do we have going on? Oh yeah, Dune 2, Sandor Boogaloo has moved as well. So that's no longer coming out in December. It's now coming out in February, I believe is what it is. So that's been moved as well. Um, no big deal on that one because it's going to come out on Max, like what is it, like a month later anyway, and that's pretty much how I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to pay to see it in the theater. I didn't pay to see the first one in the theater because it was released again on Max the same time, so that was the perfect way to watch that. I'm sorry. I know some of you liked it. I was not one of those people. It was just very, very long and boring. At one point, when Javier Bardem's character is lying in the sand, kind of just lounging there, I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel, dude. That's kind of boring, huh?" Pippin 90 says, I remember when I was watching Lost around 2006 or 2008, maybe there was a strike and like this, short seasons and a big mess. Yeah. So this is going to be big messes for years, a couple of years to come, Pippin, because there's an abrupt, basically, it's a stoppage of work, but not just a stoppage of work, but a stoppage of, because everything gets set in motion early on. You actually have production of months, and we're talking almost a year at times of I was reading someone's account on X or Twitter or whatever the fuck, Twitter, I'm just going to call it Twitter. And they're saying that it's 8 months from the start of a project to when you actually get hired on to start the project. So basically the project is announced, and the writers, the actors, all that stuff, it takes like 8-9 months to get everything starting to go in, when you get people actually hired on, to get the contracts all ironed out, and the writing to get started and all of that. to start. So I mean, when you hear about something going into production, it's already been almost a year of all this stuff happening, and you're having that stop now. So you think about it, where we've been in this limbo now for about 4 months, I believe is where we're at, 5 months. And every month is basically you're taking almost a year off of stuff, production stuff that's going to happen off of everything. So right now, well, I would say every 2 months is a year. Okay, so we're probably looking at roughly about a year and a half to 2 years of delays of projects at this point. CBM says, I'm so annoyed by them pulling in protesters to lecture them. Yeah, yeah, I know. That was just really stupid. The studio heads pulling in them to say, oh, well, you should have taken our deal. We had a really good deal. Why didn't you take it? You're not going to get a better deal than that. And they were just like, yeah, fuck you. Pippin 90 says, now the streaming market is new, so getting fair deals is going to be long. Yeah. Well, it's really not new. I mean, uh, I don't know if you've been watching the news as well. So right now, Disney uh, has pulled out Spectrum. So Spectrum, which is a cable company, has basically Disney has pulled out of their market because Spectrum won't pay them what they're charging to Spectrum. Sound familiar? And as a result of this, 15 million people now have lost access to Disney, Hulu, and ESPN is what it is. So I think that's what the three are. Or ESPN and Disney is really. Hulu, of course, is a pay service. So yeah, whatever. So it's kind of funny that Bob Iger is talking about uh, he wants to get paid the fair amount by this cable company to stream his stuff, but he's not willing to pay the writers and the actors what they're worth, and also just to give them fair equity for their images, also for the actors for their images, digital and imaging, that kind of thing. Um, they're not willing to actually talk about that, and not even that, just pay them what they're owed. So yeah, fuck them on all of this. So yeah, and Pippin, going back to that other strike, which was 2004, if I remember correctly, that was the rise of reality TV. So reality TV, by the way, has writers. So yes, you do have writers that deal in all of this as well. Um, reality TV rose up out of the 2004 strike as a way to combat not having screenwriters and actors. And so that's what we had a lot of, flooding the TV screens. That's when you get Survivor and Big Brother and all that kind of bullshit. And right now in Europe, they're not going through this right now because they're a different market, of course. It's all through the US at this point. And it's kind of funny. There's smaller studios like A24. So A24, which it's kind of funny calling them a smaller studio. They're actually a fairly big studio. They've actually signed an agreement with the Screen Actors Guild and with SAG to meet those demands. So they are actually already doing projects right now for A24 because those contracts have already been signed. So there you have it. It's just companies like Disney, Amazon, Netflix, all those that don't want to give in to all of this. And someone posted the percentages of what it would cost, these companies, and literally it's less than 1%, and in some cases less than 0.5% of whatever they're bringing in. It's not that much money, which is sad when you think about it. Oh, and by the way, so I started playing Baldur's Gate 3 as well, or I should say I attempted to at some point, and I suck at it. I suck at video games. I've probably already told you this before, but yeah, at one point I was playing I sat down for like 4 hours, and I was trying to actually save at one point, and it wouldn't let me save for some reason. And then I got into a big mess where I got my entire party killed off. And then they said, "Oh, you need to start back at this end point where you started off," which was like 4 hours back from where and I was like, "Yeah, fuck this," and I haven't played since. So, but that's okay. Eventually, I'll get back to it at some point in time, just not right now. But yeah. Oh, and I've been watching, of course, What We Do in the Shadows. The whole thing with Guillermo being, not quite a vampire is just fucking hilarious. Yeah, it really is. And Matt Berry. So Matt Berry, who plays Laszlo, of course, is he's a fucking gem. He really is. Just the stuff that he says. So I forgot that Matt Berry was actually one of the voices in Disenchantment, the animated series on Netflix, which of course season 5, their final season, is finally aired. And he plays Merkimer, which is the prince that got turned into a pig. And I forgot that he was voicing it. So now all I hear is Laszlo whenever Merkimer is talking, and it's the same cadence, it's the same words, all that kind of. It's really fucking funny. So, but I'll tell you this right now: Disenchantment season 5 is just fucking horrible. It really is. Season 4 was just as horrible, and I mean, it just kind of downslid, and I could see why it got canceled. But yeah, it ended the way they wanted it to end, and yeah, I don't see that one coming back anytime soon. It just had a lot of characters in it that, when you're rooting for the devil, that's when you know that yeah, your series has gone downhill at that point. But yeah. Oh, and by the way, I rewatched The Flash, the movie, on Max. I saw it in the theater. I watched it again on TV, on Max. And it plays a lot better on the small screen than it does on the big screen. I'm still gonna say the storyline is shit, for the most part. And lacking a real villain, that's the reason why that movie failed. I mean, they kind of sort of had a villain. They copped out on it a bit, but there's a way to make it better. And they didn't. I mean, it's a great Batman movie. There's like different versions of Batman in all of this, and all those different versions of Batman are really kind of cool. And I can see how Andy Muschietti got the job to direct Brave and the Bold, which is supposed to be the Batman movie that is going to be the official DCEU Batman. Versus, I mean, Pattinson's Batman is not the official DCEU Batman. Just so you know, he's the Elseworlds Batman. And there is going to be the Batman 2, and he's supposed to be fighting Clayface, is what the rumors are. So, but it's going to be a different version of Clayface, which means it's going to be a lame version of Clayface. It's probably going to be kind of like a lame version of Riddler, like they had in the first movie. This is, I'm sorry, the Zodiac Killer in the first movie. Um, yeah, it's going to be a lame version of Clayface as well, and all of that. I wish they would just do Clayface, like, you know, if you go back to Batman the animated series, they did such a good version of Clayface. I mean, just yeah, Matt Hagen is the name of the character that becomes Clayface, the actor, and having it tied into a cosmetic company that was making basically using industrial sludge in order to make their cosmetics, and you can uh, make it malleable, all that kind of stuff. Oh, hang on a sec. It was gonna it was gonna add some ads in there for you guys for a second there, so I just skipped some ads for you. You're welcome, by the way. Um, yeah, fucking YouTube, man. YouTube does all kinds of shit now that I don't want them to do, and unfortunately, I can't skip over some of the things that I don't want them to do. But yeah, I mean, if they did the Matt Hagen version, and it would be so much better, but they're not going to do that. They're gonna do something really shitty, and that'll probably be it for that Patterson version, whatever his name is. And I'm okay with that. What else? What else is there out there in the world? I'm looking to see what we got here, news wise. So Aaron Paul also says he's not getting any residuals from Breaking Bad streaming on Netflix. That's been a thing that everyone has been saying, is that no one's getting any residuals from Netflix at this point. So yeah. Yeah. And oof, wow. There's just a lot of garbage stuff. I mean, because there's no news, uh yeah, there's just a lot of garbage stuff that's out there. So my adventures with Superman, um season 1 just ended, by the way, on Adult Swim and also on Max. So you can watch the entire first season on Max. It's actually pretty good. It's a different version of Superman. It's not the version that we know, and it's okay. It really is. They show you that it's a different universe. There are multiple universes with different Supermen in it. I don't know how I feel about DC in general, Warner Brothers deciding to go with this whole multiverse thing and having Elseworld movies and TV series, and not having a coherent universe. If you will, they are going to have one universe, which is what James Gunn and Peter Seraphim, whatever, are putting together, and that is supposed to be the one the one main universe, and then all these other movies are going to be in TV series are going to be offshoots of that. Um, I don't. Well, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a lot of your just casual viewers. They're not going to understand that, and they're going to go, "What happened to the Batman that Pattinson was playing?" And yeah, so that's what you're going to get. A lot of confusion on that, and you're going to get a watering down of your ticket prices is what's going to happen, or your ticket revenues is what's going to happen with Warner Brothers. CBM says a good part of Gunn is that he does not have that no wizards mentality that a lot of DC hasn't grown out of. No wizards. I don't know what you mean by that, CBM. No wizards mentality. You're talking about the magic. So what I like about James Gunn is he likes to use obscure fucking characters. Uh, he and I are the same mind when it comes to obscure characters. Having him use Starro in the Suicide Squad was fucking genius. Starro is one of my favorite weird characters. I mean, obviously you can see I've got Batmite behind me here. Um, I think I've told this story before, but in Batman the Brave and the Bold, when that series was out on Cartoon Network, yeah, it was on Cartoon Network. They had a Facebook page, and they interacted with fans quite a bit on the Facebook page. And the year before, they knew they were going to go out, that was going to be their final season. They said, "Hey, we're going to be going out. What would you like to see? What characters would you like to see in the series finale?" kind of thing. And people were posting all this kind of different, this. And I posted on there, I said, I want to see Ambush Bug. Now, Ambush Bug is a deep fucking cut for those of you who know, comics, your comic lore, all that kind of stuff. And I said, I want to see Ambush Bug on there, you know. And then people were like, oh shit, that's actually a deep cut. People on Facebook, they're like, hey, that's actually really good. Ambush Bug, let's see Ambush Bug. It kind of picked up steam. If you go back now and watch The Brave and the Bold and you watch that final episode, the final episode has in it Batmite versus Ambush Bug. You can thank me for that one. But yeah, that's the kind of shit that I live for, is the really obscure fucking DC characters. For example, in um, Titans, the live action version of Titans in the final season, they had Buona Beast. Buona Beast, by the way, is a deep fucking cut. How that got in there, I don't know. Probably because they knew it was their last season, and so they threw it in there. Of course, they didn't call him Buona Beast. They called him Beast Master or something like that. Because Buona Beast, of course, is fucking racist, is really what it is. So, because it was created in the 50s or the 60s, somewhere around there. But yeah, but they did actually mention him, and they had the new guy who actually plays. I want to say it's Beastmaster in there, and that was actually pretty good. I like those obscure DC characters, and that's what James Gunn loves as well. He loves those obscure DC characters, and he will put them into live action movies. So there you have it. CBM says DC had this tendency to rationalize or ground things in reality. Oh yes, I agree with you. Yes, that's what you mean, the no wizards. Yes. Yeah. I really don't like that either. The whole, how do we make this real life? And you get people that are doing reviews, YouTube stuff here as well, that are talking about this. They're going, well, that wouldn't happen in real life. It's like, yeah, it's a fucking comic book movie. That's why it's not supposed to be real life. It's supposed to be fantastical kind of thing. And yes, I'm said fantastical. Um, that's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be real life. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be a comic book. Is really what it is, a live action comic book. It's not supposed to be real. It's supposed to be something that is beyond your imagination sometimes, and beyond reality, and beyond the laws of physics. Yes, there's no way you can have a guy dress up as a fucking bat and run along rooftops, all night long and swing from building to building. There's just no fucking way you could do it. Um, One, he'd get really fucking tired running across those rooftops, guarantee you. And two, he'd probably pull his arm out of his sockets at some point in time, trying to swing from building to building. Yeah. Pippin90 says, I like the Batman, but same, I don't like that it being that real. Exactly. It doesn't need to be that real. We all know that, there's no fucking way you can have somebody do that in real life. And that's kind of what I like about the MCU. The MCU doesn't doesn't put those limitations on there. Yes, we know that there are characters that, can't do that. If you go back and take a look at She-Hulk, by the way, the TV series that, aired last year on Disney Plus, the Daredevil that they present in that in She-Hulk is actually Daredevil the way it was supposed to be done. And Stephen the Knight, who worked on the first season of Daredevil, actually said if we had the budget, that would have been the Daredevil we would have done, because they were able to use CGI to show Daredevil bouncing around like he does in the comics, and that's what they did in She-Hulk. And again, we know a human being cannot do that in real life, but it's a comic book show. It's based on a fucking comic book. It's not supposed to be real life. Oy. It's fantasy. And I don't think people actually are separating reality from fantasy all that well anymore. They really need to actually, obviously, I mean, if you take a look at some of our fucking political situations, obviously people are not separating reality from fantasy anymore. So yeah, but don't get me started on that shit either. But yeah, superheroes aren't real. Okay, you can't have it in the real world. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work with physics. Doesn't work with our biology. Anything like that. So yeah, you get bit by a radioactive spider, you get fucking leukemia or cancer and die. Actually, the spider probably dies of from whatever radiation it is first, so you probably don't even get bit by the spider. And also to have that kind of radiation, uh if you go back to the original Spider-Man where they're showing the spider getting irradiated, there are no fucking safety precautions in that lab whatsoever to shield the people that are watching the experiment from happening from the radiation itself. So the people in that room are being fucking irradiated just as much as the spider. For those of you who know what radiation is, especially if it's going to be, so you have three different modes of radiation. You have alpha, which is your weakest, which also could be dangerous too if you ingest it. You have beta, and then you have gamma. Okay, those are your three modes of radiation there. If you're hitting something with gamma radiation, you want to have some fucking shields up. And even though even shielding sometimes won't help you because depends on the strength of the radiation that you're using. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff there. But anyway, again, comic book. That's what we're talking about, not fucking real. So yes, I have a science background. Okay, I have a degree in science. I have a degree in biology. I've taken physics. I've taken chemistry. All this stuff. I was a I've done radiation safety as a living. So I know all of this stuff as well. Yet I can actually separate fantasy from reality. And I can enjoy my fantasy from my reality. And I think that's just what gets lost, quite honestly, in a lot of people's minds here. I mean, come on. Well, I don't think you could use that lightsaber that way. I don't think that's real. No fucking shit, Sherlock. It's a fucking beam of light that stops at a certain point. I mean, come on. Well, I don't know, man, about the Force. How come? How come Sabine doesn't? How come she's a Jedi training for a Jedi? She doesn't have any Force use in her. The Force is a fucking made up thing, man. It really is. Just watch the fucking story. Uh Again, so all this indignation that we keep seeing, on YouTube and Twitter and all these different things about people getting angry about shit for no good reason whatsoever. You're getting angry about fantasy stories. Is what you're getting angry about fiction is what you're getting angry at. There are a lot of real world issues which you should be getting angry at more than anything else. Yes, I am not real. You're right, Movie Fanobi. I'm not real. I am AI, as a matter of fact, which is a different kind of reality, but virtual. Oh, man. Yeah. Anyway, I digress on all of that. Uh yeah, there's just enjoy your fiction, motherfuckers. That's all I'm saying. Separate it from reality. That's all you got to do. That's going to be my new hashtag. Enjoy your fiction, motherfuckers. I know it's a long hashtag, but still, there you go. So, what else we got going on? I'm trying to see if there is so Mortal Kombat has, another game coming out, and Dave Batista did a commercial for it, I guess it was, and okay. That's great and all that. Um let's see. Nothing else. Hey, thanks, Mufino. You didn't need to do that. Mufino says, yeah, Rhodey and others would be dead if they were there. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing, too. Yeah, so when you have, I talked about this before, too, in Secret Invasion, all the humans that were being held in the Chernobyl site or the irradiated site that was in Russia there would have been dead. Because, as they said, the reason why the scrolls were there was because radiation didn't hurt them, but it killed humans. And yet all these humans were being stored in these silo things. They didn't have any kind of shielding whatsoever. They were just had like a little halo on their head, and they were just standing there, if you will. They would have been dead from the radiation. So yeah, I mentioned it before also in my review of fuck Secret Invasion, man. Fuck that show. That show is just horrible. That almost ranks up there with The Inhumans. I mean, it almost ranks up there with the Inhumans as the worst DC, not DC, Marvel show. Almost. But yeah, fuck that show. Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, so David Fincher has a movie that's coming out on Netflix called The Killer, with oh god, now I'm just blanking on his name. Anyway, there's a trailer out there that's coming out in, I want to say it's next month or it's this month. Or December. That's when it's coming out. It looks really fucking good. And I'm looking forward to that one. Yes, it's not a genre, but still it looks pretty damn good. Pippin says I never watched the Miss Marvel finale. You might as well watch it, Pippin, because it actually does tie into everything else. It is the start of the Marvel mutants, if you will. So yeah. So there you go. Talk about frightening. Moof Note says it's supposed to be fun and suspend disbelief. Yeah, exactly. You're supposed to suspend your disbelief for a little bit. It's not supposed to be, well, that wouldn't happen in real life. No shit. It's not going to happen in real life. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah. I'm just seeing if there's anything else out there. Oh my god. Nicholas Wending Renfin. I can't watch his movies. His movies are horrible. Um, so the Marvels is still coming out. That hasn't changed. That's coming out in November. Excuse me. Loki season 2 is coming out in about a month here. Yeah, it's in about a month. So that's actually, I'm trying to work on a giveaway for that for Loki season 2. It's going to be handmade, hopefully. I don't want to say too much about it because if it doesn't work, it's not going to, either it's going to be cool or it's going to fail spectacularly, one of the two. And so that's what I'm trying to work on at the moment. Trying to get my arts and crafts on. So we'll see what happens. And if it's cool, it'll be really cool. But if it fails spectacularly, it's going to be a mess. Let's just say that. I'll let you know if it comes out one way or the other, and I'll tell you what it is later. But yeah. But I do have something else in mind too. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, it's a limited edition, is what that is. That's a Miss Minutes pin. It's for all times, always, is what it says. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah. I'll be giving that away too. But that's not until October. Oh, it'll be the end of November, somewhere around there. So there you go. Yeah. I had gotten that originally for season 1, and then it didn't come in until now, or actually came in afterwards, and I was like, well, that's already gone. So yeah. So now it's gonna come out season 2. But anyway. So I don't have anything else. Michael Fassbender, thank you. Yes, Michael Fassbender is in The Killer. Thank you. I could see his face. I knew what his name was, and it just was eluding me. But thank you, Move Finobi. Yes, Michael Fassbender is in The Killer. That is with David Fincher. Uh it looks interesting to say the least. I mean, um, and of course, Michael Fassbender is pretty good in pretty much everything that he does. So I like him as an actor. If you really want to see him in something, I kind of hesitate to say this because it does have Gina Carano in it. Um, but her first movie, Haywire, which was a good movie, by the way. Michael Fassbender is in it at one point and does have a fight scene in it with her. And it's a really damn good fight scene. It's a fucking brutal fight scene. And they're both really good in it. It's a really, it's probably one of my favorite fight scenes, I'll have to say, in a movie. And it's up there with like They Live, the Roddy Piper and uh fight that happens in the alleyway. It's almost kind of on that level of just it kind of goes too long to the point of you're like, really? And then you're like, okay, it's back on again, That's kind of that fight scene. That's why I thought it was kind of, it's ridiculous, but it's also fun and it's kind of cool. So you don't need to watch the entire movie, just you can watch that fight scene. What else do we have here? Yeah, I don't really have anything else. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So what else do I have going on for the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow I'm going to be off because it's Labor Day. You guys should all be off as well. Tuesday I'm going to be off as well. Wednesday will be episode 4 of Ahsoka. Is that right? Yeah, episode 4 of Ahsoka. Um, I was going to do the Wheel of Time, but like I said, it's kind of boring the shit out of me. So I'm not going to do the Wheel of Time. Let me see what else is out there. If you go to suspendedfanimation.com, you can take a look at the schedule I have up there. Also, I have underneath that schedule, like all the stuff that's going to be coming out. Well, not all the stuff, but a good majority of stuff that's coming out here. Um, oh yeah, so I Am Groot season 2 is coming out. What is that? On the 6th? So that's coming out on Wednesday. Lower Deck season 4 is coming out September 7th. Yeah, just all kinds of weird stuff. The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 1 is coming out September 10th. Yeah, who knew that was coming up? Castlevania Nocturne season 1 is coming out on Netflix on September 28th. The next big series that's coming out that I'm going to be covering is going to be The Boys Gen V, which is going to be on Amazon September 29th. So yeah, I'll be covering that definitely. And that'll be the next big thing, quite honestly, right before Loki comes out, season 2. So, and actually, let me see if that actually is. Oh, really? So, The Boys, Gen V, and Loki season 2 are both going to be on Fridays. Yay! So, most likely, The Boys is going to move over to Saturday, and Loki, of course, will be on Friday when I do all of that. So Castlevania Nocturne is going to have a different writer, of course. It is not going to be the writer who did the original animated Castlevanias because he has his own little problems going on right now. Yeah, he's being accused of quite a few different things, which is a shame. He's a good writer, but I mean, supposedly he's done some reprehensible things, allegedly. So yeah, he is out and someone else is writing those. So we'll see how Castlevania Nocturne shows, how it comes out. But take a look over at the schedule. I will put something up there. I probably will do another Is It Worth My Time at some point in time during the week as well. I don't know what I'm going to do as of yet. I'll figure something out. CBM says only Murders in the Building and Harley Quinn are the big things for me. Yeah, I haven't watched Only Murders in the Building. I just haven't gotten into it, quite honestly. Harley Quinn, I'm still watching. I'm just not really digging the storyline right now. I think once they killed off Nightwing, that was the thing that just kind of, I was like, really? And then the whole time travel thing that just happened. Uh, I understand it's going for the ridiculous stuff now, but it's just, it kind of, and with the group not being together, the main group that they had at the beginning of season 1 to now, uh them being all split apart, it's not funny anymore is what it is. It's not humorous. I mean, sure, there's a couple of guffaws here and there, but nothing like the first 3 seasons. Yeah. I don't know. The season 4 isn't doing it for me. But I'm not grounding in reality. So there you go. uh, and we all know that Nightwing's not dead. They're gonna undo that part at some point in time. So yeah. They have a fucking time machine. Well, yes, it got destroyed in the last episode, but still. Yeah, something will happen. Anyway, with that said, thank you to everyone who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. And thanks again, Movie for Novi, for that you know, that little gift there. You didn't need to do that. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching. And it's a vast video library. Basically, it's over 1,000 videos now at this point. So it's going to find something from all the nasty stuff you've been watching on YouTube, and it's going to find something that kind of matches close to it, or probably not. And it's going to pop it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there if you can. If you can, also hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'll be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week, and I mostly stick to it unless work gets in the way, which happens quite often. And also take a look underneath the schedule there. Like I said, there's future stuff of what's coming out. Not everything is on there, but I try and keep up with some of the stuff that I'm interested in, some of the stuff I think you might be interested in. If you want me to put something on there that you think is of interest, shoot me an email. If you scroll down enough on that page, you'll see a little email section there that you can send me email on. So with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go. I will see you again on Wednesday for Ahsoka episode 4. So until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may, I don't know, get scanned and put into some kind of show in perpetuity from one of the big studios and not get paid for it, because that's how they are now. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Wednesday. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, and have a good rest of your weekend. Hopefully, you guys, that are here in the States, do something fun for Labor Day. Until then, I'll see you on Wednesday. Have a good rest of your weekend. Thanks, everyone. See ya.